Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our TRI's what is it called? TRI Crypto Countdown Top 100 Cool Dudes. I don't know, something like that. I don't know. It's a funny name we got for this show. Anyway, what are we calling it? TRI's Top 100 Crypto Review, episode 17. Wow, man, we've been here a while. Kind of a fun little adventure we embarked on at the beginning of the summer. Just hanging out with a few TRI site peeps. It's been a lot of fun getting to know the student body and also encouraging site I don't know, kick the tires kind of people. Hey, these guys aren't so bad. Maybe I can learn a thing or two, and encouraging people like Ben to join the education program. So it's been a lot of fun working with these guys through the summer, and now here we are into the fall. My name is Brian Beamish, and of course TRI is the Rational Investor. This is our fun little website that we operate our school program as well. We have like daily briefs programs. About an hour or two a day. I wonder where a good screen is to show you this. You would think that I'd have this silly web page right in front of me, eh? Nope. Although I did. Hey, there we go. I tweeted out the announcement that we were going to get going, and it had the address in there. As well, it's a lot of fun. I'll tell you. I'm kind of boring, deadpan trader guy. I make money from trading, blah, blah, blah. But some of our site people have put this TRI PMA feed together, and I have to say it's been a lot of fun. It's been a real pleasure watching Josh Morris is the sort of latest quarterback of this page, and I gotta tell you, man, it's a lot of fun just watching Josh in action here. So TRI is our site, and as I showed you there a moment ago, I think I showed it to you, maybe I didn't. We have a fun website. Where the hell did I just put it? Didn't I just have the website up? Thought I did. That we run? Oh, there it is. Yay. Hell, you can even come in and sign up for a free 30-day trial and sit and listen to us in our crazy banter Monday to Friday. On the daily briefs, lots of different site participants offering content up Monday to Friday. In fact, Julian does his baby powder report first thing tomorrow morning, so you might enjoy listening to one of TRI's principals, Julian. And as well, we do have, of course, an education program. I had made reference to that a moment ago. All of my co-hosts on this show here actually are in the education program, so it's really cool how each of my three cohorts here, who I'll introduce in a moment, are actually at different stages in their education with us. And I have to say, the education program has been pretty well received. It's been a lot of fun. And, just even now, I suppose I can't show it to you here. But I had a class today, a group tutorial session with our advanced students talking harmonics. And actually we had one of our site OGs, Steven, who's just an absolute harmonic god, hang out with the group here today. And they have a lot of fun on the site just talking harmonics. You can see all the level 3ers just all... as we go through the different modules, and or week 4 of the level 3 program is harmonics. So a couple of the students were like, yes, please, I'd like to join the group. So there they all are. Steven, have fun with that. Good luck. But anyway, that was a lot of fun. In fact, actually, Derek, were you part of class here today? Did you participate? I don't know whether I saw you there.
Yeah, I mean, I was there. I was there for about the first half. I had to jump a little bit early, but I got to hear a lot of his, feedback, and kind of saw, he was mentioning about how he kind of trades the harmonics and stuff like that, and it was very, very interesting.
Yeah, a lot of fun. So actually, and I'm probably kind of skipping forward, I've got these 3 gentlemen that I've been working with for the past, I think this is episode 17, we said. So we're like 17, 18 weeks plus a few weeks we missed. The great crew here. These guys are awesome. So you just heard from Derek. Derek, I guess, is the old man of the bunch, being in level 3. And of course, I'm teaching the level 3 currently, so I get to watch him very closely under the microscope. So how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing well, doing well.
Awesome. And did you finish your harmonics manual?
I'm behind on everything. I would say I'm being honest. I'm about three quarters of the way through. So
All
I got to
right.
finish up
So
the last
that means
little bit. And
you know what a P and an R is. You just don't know what the Z is yet. Right?
oh no, well that's towards the
PRZ.
beginning. I made it
Inside
that far.
joke. You'd have to be in the level 3 to know what the hell that means. Anyway, okay, so great, and I hope the little ones are doing well. I know you were pretty stressed there a little bit, but you said mom's back in town driving the bus again. So
Oh yeah, driving the bus. We're on the bus, and everybody's doing well.
excellent, good. Way to go, mom. Love you. Next up on the hit list, I suppose level 2, getting introduced to WD GAN right about now. Is that correct, Nick?
That is correct. Learning to square my charts.
Yes. So Nick, coming from the great state of New Mexico, soon to be X, I suppose. I think I heard that you're heading back north.
I am heading back north. Yeah, moving to Minnesota probably beginning of December-ish.
Yeah. So hip deep in a whole bunch of stuff. Nick, if anything, is our resident. If we were gonna have a DeFi guy, I think Nick probably knows the most. I don't know. Maybe Derek and Ben can give him a run for his money. You guys know way more than I do. That's for sure. But we have been talking a little bit about maybe Nick helping us with it might be a good idea is to throw like you and Sjord and maybe Nacho Don. We'll throw all of you guys into a cauldron together and see what kind of show we can spit out on DeFi. Because I think you guys, that would be actually a pretty lively conversation.
I was gonna say it sounds dangerous, but also fun. It sounds fun too.
All right. So and regardless, how are you this evening, sir?
I'm fantastic.
Awesome. Good. And then bringing up the pack. Doing his Benkoff check. Ben coming out of the great state of Florida. How are you this evening, Ben?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Excellent. I think Derek suggests that we might even get a Benkoff check NFT or something down the road out of this. That would be kind of fun. But anyway, how are you doing in the level 1 program? I suppose you're getting through eating your vegetables. Are you just about on the back end of that?
Yeah, we just finished up risk management, and I'm unlocking the power of the fibs.
All right, so have you actually gotten into fib tutorials yet? So,
It's for this week, but I haven't got into it yet, but
all right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so you not only retracements but extensions, so the full meal deal. Lots of levels to work with. And actually, it's interesting that I had mentioned the harmonics, because actually we had somebody who, for anybody who's watching this video later on, trading harmonic patterns gets you to take trades sometimes at very, very awkward places. And it's interesting how we teach the basic fib levels that are involved in harmonic trading in the level 1 program. And then what I really want to do is just have you work with all those fib numbers for like a good 6 months or so. And then we can start talking about taking trades at PRZs, which of course Derek knows all about. And like I said, very odd level. So get to know 1.618s really well, 1.272s. And then of course all the level 1 program, we really concentrate on things like reload zones, which is like 61.8 fibs and 78.6 fibs and 88.6 fibs and stuff like that. So Anyway, it sounds to me like all three of you are chugging along in your education process, which of course makes me extremely happy. And I have to say, I even put out a tweet today, been sort of blabbing away about crazy upside expectations out of the corn, and doing crazy images like this, out on Twitter. And whenever you do images like this out on Twitter, sometimes the public doesn't quite get the message that I'm trying to convey. And sometimes the message itself can get kind of distorted. But it looks to me like history is just about to repeat itself here, folks. And actually, I think I won the contest. Wasn't I the only one last week bullish?
You were the only one last week bullish. Yes.
Yeah, I was definitely neutral last week.
Yeah, so actually I feel pretty proud of myself. Anyway, I mean, this could be serious life-changing events here, folks. Yeah, look at that. We put on a good 10-20% or so, eh? Wow. I hate to say it, guys. I'm gonna have to lean on the bullish side again. I don't see how this is gonna stop here. I'll be curious to see how you guys are feeling, whether you feel like joining me or not. But yeah, man, wow, up. And like I showed you off of that crazy image, I mean, I don't know how high this thing goes, but what I could really see here is I could see that what I found fascinating is everybody's just assumed Bitcoin's worth $100,000. I mean, it's shocking. You just I go out on like, CBS Market Watch. Like, these people don't know crypto. And they're like, 3 reasons why Bitcoin will be $160,000 by the end of the year. It's like, who the hell are these people? And where do they come up with any of this logic? But what's fascinating is that we don't have the insane FOMO. It'd be interesting, all three of you, just to get your feedback. Are friends and family like sort of frantically calling you and asking you whether they should buy crypto and get into Bitcoin and stuff now? Anyone?
No. My mom did give me $3,000, and she said invest this in crypto.
Uh-oh.
When it was dumped down at 30,000.
And did you?
Well, yeah, I put it in for it. Just
good for you. Right, well, that's a good sign.
She was like, I don't need this for 10 years, and I was like, okay, well, let's just put it in Bitcoin. We'll see what it's worth in 10 years.
You know what? She's gonna be one very happy mother.
But I was just happy she wanted to do it at 30,000 and not when it was at 65 before.
Yeah, that's good. Well, so it actually be interesting to get her impression of what happened there in this spring and what was that got her interested, and then why did she, maybe some of the education program that you're taking is rubbing off on her. Who knows? But it's remarkable that she actually got you to step in there at 30,000, eh?
No, it's definitely from a lot of what I was talking about, and then a couple of the her old I don't know, investment people that she works with. Not that she has a lot of money, but she has an asset person because they're old and they have a will and all that kind of stuff. But he was like, you should look into crypto a little bit. It's exciting this year. And so then she's like, maybe Nick does know what he's talking about. But
there you go. So
she needed the validation.
You're going to look pretty damn good at this Thanksgiving dinner table. I'll tell you.
Maybe we'll see.
Well, so far so good, right? That's still 1 month away, right? Who knows what happens in the interim. Derek, are you getting any inquiries in your sort of circle of non-crypto, non-trading people in your life asking about crypto?
Not as much lately. More so when Dogecoin was up. I was getting a lot of questions then, but not so much in so I guess that's kind of a barometer for where we are now. Not enough hype yet. So
So somebody's telling Nick they're already giving you financial advice over there on YouTube. So there you go. Oh, and you're responding.
I mean, that's not that bad of advice, though. Sell half on a double.
Yeah, it always keeps you out of trouble, that's for sure. Or, when let the Bitcoin thing do its thing, sell half on a double, that kind of idea. but when the price crashes, call her up and say, you know what? I thought it was a good idea that we take some money out at the top of the market. So here's your $3,000 back. And oh, by the way, you got all this stuff for free here. And then she'll think you walk on water. So anyway, all right. Last but not least, Ben, what do you think out of the great state of Florida? How's the sickness going down there? Is because I know I'm on the other side of the continent, quite literally. So we get such conflicting messages out of Florida. You would think that basically you guys were all like rebelling and telling the feds to go to hell and all that kind of stuff out of the southeast of the U.S. So that's how distorted the message is.
All right.
So,
okay.
From a local's mouth, how are things going in Florida? Is the sickness even a thing?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's still a thing. But you know, the industry that I work in, I film a lot of weddings.
Fascinating.
And
people still getting married?
People are getting married. Rooms full of people. Yeah. No,
you know what's
masks.
interesting is in Canada, I read that there is a baby, not a baby boom. What's the opposite of a baby boom? Baby trough?
Baby bust.
I don't know what you'd call that. Where they actually did the statistics, and this past year, 19,000 less births happened in Canada than were supposed to happen.
Wow.
So that's fascinating. So, you know, all the
Yeah.
demographic things are all getting screwed up here.
Yeah.
And and how about Bitcoin? Anybody asking you about Bitcoin in your neck of the woods? Do they even care?
Yeah. I mean, I've got a few people in my immediate family, close friend group that historically have pretty much like called the top whenever they text me and they say, "Hey, have you still got your Bitcoin?" So
And
I haven't
now
heard
the
from them yet.
64,000 question. Have they been calling you?
They have not yet, but as soon
Oh,
as
good,
they do,
good,
I'll be
good.
sure to let you all know.
That's good. That's encouraging. Somebody wants Wild Man Mike to go get a job. I don't know what that means. Over on YouTube. All right. Well, okay. That's kind of cool. So what I'm hearing is we could probably still move in higher. I'm a little surprised, to be honest with you, when I just hear the sentiment and I see the sentiment. Nobody's really even that excited. They're kind of like meh, which means that this thing is going a hell of a lot higher.
I know. I saw somebody talk about the Google search like trend.
Yeah, that would
What
be
is that
good.
called?
Let's take a look.
Google Trends or something.
Yeah, and it's way lower than it even was earlier this year.
Yeah.
Much less the 2018 or 2017.
Yeah, it feels like it's kind of flying under the radar right now. Then when you get to 100,000, that'll be the number when the news pumps it. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
People
that's
start
that
phoning-
second link.
Oh, sorry. I screwed that up. The second link, this one?
Yeah, try that one.
Search trends.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we're just Wing.
Look at that.
We're just Wing now. So is that like here, you know?
Yeah, see if you can do all history or something. Or past 5 years is good. And look at the 2017 spike there.
Yeah. I mean, like that's scary. That we're
That
at
looks like
this
a
price
that looks like a
now.
reload zone.
Yeah, you want to buy that chart.
Exactly. That's a fib, isn't it? What do you think the odds are we got a fucking bull div happening down here? This is a 3-cent setup. I call my broker. I want to get long Google searches for Bitcoin. I don't want to buy Bitcoin. I just want to buy the searches, whatever the hell this thing is. Is there a coin for this? Oh, goodness. I don't know. It's kind of scary. You know you've been doing this game too long when you start seeing like the TA in like the there's a crack in my window and I could see it carving out lower highs and lower lows, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. And you know, when you're walking down the street and you see a crack in the sidewalk and you're like, oh, I'm bullish. Hey, we're gonna get long. So fascinating, eh? So you can see, here we go. And lo and behold, where's the powerhouse? Nigeria. So the Prince of Nigeria, he's getting involved in Bitcoins. And there you go. That's interesting. Austria. I wonder why Austria, of all places. I can completely understand Nigeria because, a lot of the scams come out of Nigeria, eh? Or Prince of Nigeria and all that shit. Anyway, from what I understand, Jesus, I think there's like 100 million people that are in Nigeria. It's ridiculous how many people live there. All right. So I guess the question ultimately here is, what are we going to do with the time here tonight, boys? What do you think we should do? I've had a number of different requests. Maybe we should hear from you guys. What do you think we should do? And you're not chiming in on what you think's going to happen here. I've already voted. I think we're going higher, but I don't want to bias your vote.
I always try to go away from my gut. My gut says we've went too far too fast since we've been going from 40,000 to 70,000 right away. But
yeah,
I'm gonna get over there and put it. Do you want to put a 1 in for me?
All right. Well,
I'm not gonna stand in front of the train.
All right. Well, there you go. So 111. And what's? Oh no, Derek said now. Derek went back neutral.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go neutral.
All right. No, Ben's too. He's right off the map. Ben
loaded up this morning.
Yeah. Okay. Ben's all in. I didn't even know you could vote a 2. 2. I guess 2 is the most bullish you could be, eh? Oh,
yeah,
I mean,
I'm in a 3, but
the volume is waning a little bit. It's like.
Oh, okay. So I'm optimistic. Oh, isn't that interesting? Yeah, okay. I'll stay optimistic. I think we're gonna work our way higher. I don't know whether I see face rip, but so that's cool. Ben's in face rip mode here now. Derek neutral. Derek's not really seeing much, eh? And Nick's gonna join me slightly optimistic. All right. I mean, what kind of price action do we have to justify actually bullishness? Does that mean price has to jump like 20, 30 G's in like 1 week?
I feel like what we got this last week was definitely a 2. If anyone would have guessed a 2, they would have been the winner. But you were the only person above neutral, so you were still the winner.
Oh, thanks, man. All right, so we got that out of the way for whatever it's worth. What do you think we should look at tonight? We did have a couple of people say, can you just do a review of the top 20? I don't know what the best course of action here is. Josh says you're pounding the table, Ben. By the way, that's the Wall Street term for being overtly bullish of something, is you're pounding the table. You gotta buy this thing, damn it.
So I do kind of like. I don't really care if we do it this week or one of in the next month, but I do think it would be a good idea to do a top kind of 20 review, because usually you see Bitcoin and the top coins going and peaking long before some of the smaller alts, and so I do think it would be a good idea to at least compare how they're doing now to maybe how they were doing before. Although before, man, that was back in like June when everything was in the pits.
Yeah, well, the irony of it all is we should probably see everything have turned the corner and working its way back up. So, do we want to start at the old corn?
I think that's fine unless Derek or Ben thinks otherwise.
No, I think that's good.
Which one do we want to do? Stamp?
I would usually default to something with volume, so either like Binance, FTX, or Coinbase usually for Bitcoin.
All right, well, let's stay with Coinbase, I guess. The problem with coming in on the long side here is you kind of just asking for trouble. Technically speaking, several bullish objectives have been hit here. So I don't know whether you guys have been working with this chaos theory that much lately, but it has been projecting some pretty good levels. So when I do my chaos theory, I had this as a pretty important objective. So that's been validated. And then I also had this AB CD objective. That's also been hit. So from my perspective, I think that this is basically done. The only problem here is, and I don't even know whether you call it a problem. Is this a market you can come in on the buy side? We have like specific rules that we teach people, and one of the tools that I built, probably about 10, 20 years ago, was this modified Williams percentage R indicator. And whenever the moving average, you notice, whenever it gets up into this overbought zone, that is my sort of code word for the market is overbought. And it's probably not a good idea to be a buyer there. It took a long time for this to play itself out, and that does happen. This is what's called embedded. But you can see, even if you were all bullish through here, you had to wait for this. And there was your buy signal, and I moved my house right here. And I joked with all the people on the site that I saved about $500-600 in moving fees, and I probably left maybe $5,000-10,000 in trading profits on the table, being penny wise and pound foolish. So a really good life lesson for everybody. But if I was going to trade this, I'd want to, I like to use this thing called the bot setup, which I used to trade when I was a prop trader, and really looking for a base after a rally, because most times markets move in two steps. So the base actually sets up the ultimate move and sets up the trade, and so the trade actually looks something like that, where you enter at the 25 level. Your objective is the ABCD PRZ, which is ironic because this is actually at the harmonic level that the harmonic people want to pay attention to. And that trade sets up basically a $1 of risk. That's this red box. And $3 of potential reward. That's the green box. And when you're trading buy, sell, edge, that's really what you're trying to always do, is trying to find these situations where you can take a shot, and if you're right, you get paid commensurately more than if you were wrong. That's just a trader's life. So coming in here now, this is the end of the move. It's done. And little indicators that we built to sort of keep us out of trouble are saying, what the hell are you doing? Put your money away. So that's what I have to do, is I just have to sit there and just watch in awe as this crazy thing plays itself out. So the problem with this, of course, is that this might actually, here I'll even show you a different look. This might actually be what's called an alt AB equals CD harmonic, which means, remember, this market can stay embedded overbought for long periods of time. It doesn't have to come down here. And usually that embeddedness is a sign of a very strong trending market. But we might find that this is not a regular AB equals CD, but like I said, an alt ABCD, which actually takes you all the way up top. Whoops, I did that backwards. Did I do that backwards? Oh, isn't that bizarre? Oh, yeah, it was. Okay, let's try that again. Bought trade and extensions. Boom, boom. There we go. So we might come up, clearly we didn't stop at this level. We might stop there. We might stop there. It's almost impossible to say exactly what's going to happen here. I will say that you can see even a huger ABCD. All right, now we're starting to talk like really big formations. And this one's kind of fun to do because when you start drawing these, like watch what happens. Like if this is like what, a 3 or 4 year consolidation zone. But watch what happens when I do like extension and chaos levels off of this range. Boom. 2.618, 4.669. I would actually say that I don't think the market's respecting those levels. A lot of times when you do these chaos studies, you just want to draw them and just sort of say, okay, well, is the market respecting that? I actually think it's respecting that a little bit more. So something along those lines. So 4.669, and we kind of, I would call this like 2.618. I'd call this like the guy who sort of created all this. His name is Fag and Baum. I think that's how you spell his name. Fagenbaum. Anybody know offhand? I think that's how you spell it. Anyway,
that is how to spell his name.
Fagen. Never remember if I get it right or not. There he is, handsome gentleman. Actually, we love to put pictures of him from the 70s because he had great hair, just awesome hair. Anyway, this is the gentleman that mathematically introduced this concept of the bifurcation. So I think the way I'm kind of looking at this is 2.618. I think we'll call him like Junior Bomb, because very important. A lot of times markets will run up to this level and then they'll sort of ask themselves, am I still a bull or do I want to back off? And quite often after the 2.618, you'll actually see the market smack right back down against the 100. Here you can see we gyrated around that level, and actually exactly what happened here off of this Feigenbaum here is what I think happened here. Market rallied into the level. It was an important bifurcation level, and then the vote in the marketplace is actually cast. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this is just about exactly when Dog Money Allen started to get all super bullish of Bitcoin, and Michael Saylor started to go off the deep end, right? And it kind of changed the tone. Oh, the billionaires are coming in, that kind of thing, right? Notice we zipped up to the what I would call the Feigenbaum level. This is sort of his main bifurcation level. So we'll call this the Feigenbaum. And I sometimes call this like Foggy Boggies because I have a son who has special needs, and we used to always read him this book, The Saggy Baggy Elephant, and when I saw Feigenbaum, I always think Foggy Boggy, Saggy Baggy. So I don't know, old British reference, I guess. And Liam loved that book. In fact, actually, I even still recite lines of that book even today. The Saggy Baggy Elephant was prancing through the jungle. 21 years later, and I can still recite that kid's story. Why are you joking? Okay. And then 877, which is just a crazy ass level, just a nuts level. I often see the market rally into this level, which is another one of these bifurcation levels. And I think we on the site, at least I affectionately like to call this we'll call it the moon gun bomb. That's in honor of Josh. Josh liked that one. So Junior Bomb, Feigenbaum, Mugenbaum. I got a distinct impression we're heading up to Mugenbaum. I don't see why not. As I said there a few minutes ago, I couldn't believe how many references I've heard in the public. Oh yeah. Like people are, I'm hearing a lot of just people going, oh yeah, Bitcoin's $100,000. Like it's already happened. And then I'm hearing references to now it's almost becoming like a bidding war. Well, I think Bitcoin's going to go to 120,000. I think Bitcoin's going to 150,000. I think Bitcoin's going to 165,000. The price is just getting going here. This is a very interesting situation. Because my hunch is all of those people are going to be proved too low. Because we have a rule in crypto. Bitcoin cannot finish a move without some sort of absolutely insane face rip move. But if everybody's looking for 150,000, how is that an insane face rip move? That means Bitcoin's probably got to go to like 1 million, where people are just like, holy fucking shit, I can't believe this. Which is scary. I mean, my plan all along, and I've told you guys, and I'm going to stick to it, it's just what I will do. But my plan all along has been that if Bitcoin breaks 200,000 US, I will put myself on a dollar cost averaging selling program, and I will just slowly liquidate 1/8 of my holdings over the next 2 or 3 month period following that 200,000 event. And that's sort of like along these lines. I think I showed you this chart earlier. This one. So I do find it interesting that there's 4669 off of the 1314 bull market. This is what I thought is going to happen this year all along. Here is our breakout. So I even put out a tweet the other day going, is this like life-changing event about to happen here? And I do find it interesting that there's 4.669, very much like this move, and it's sitting at 197,000. And you see how there's a nice little premium above this 979. We actually went all the way up to 1163. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen here, is we're going to pop all the way up and then above 200 and then, do something along these kind of lines and then back down. And it's going to be this event here where everybody on the street was saying, well, it's going to go to 200. So guess who's going to get sucked into the long side of the market above that 100,000 number? So I think this is what happens here. And it's kind of interesting, Mugen Bomb kind of talk. If you start doing some 877s, there's the Mugen Bomb. Look at that son of a bitch. $345,000. I mean, I don't know. I doubt it, but what the hell, eh? You bet your brother $1, eh? Oh, there you go. And if it does hit $375,000 or $345,000, Sharky, are you going to even be thinking about dollar bills for the rest of your life, or are you going to be one of those guys wiping your butts with like $100 bills? I think he's gonna be one of those guys. I love you, Sharky. So I mean, I don't know what do you say in this kind of market state? I've been through this twice with Bitcoin now, so this is my third go round. How do you logically explain this? It's, financial planner can't sit down and go, okay, well, your asset's about to go up 4x. And actually, this is pretty normal. I mean, I don't know how you explain this. How do you explain what the hell's going on in our world from a financial planner's perspective? It's absolute chaos. The one thing that really, really bothers me is I don't think people realize how dangerous the interest rate market is right now. I was going on with the good folks on the site today. The interest rate market has broken. Like the 5-year note, that's a bear market. That's not a bull market. 10-year note just broke to new lows. And this 30-year bond, I think, has a very well-defined head and shoulders top. And remember, the Fed has said, we're not really planning on supporting this market anymore, And ironically enough, it's not the Americans. And it's interesting that I do this show with Americans. We probably should have like a European on here, and we should have like a South American on here. Because it's going to be guys like me in Canada, the people in Europe, especially Central and Eastern Europe, the people in undeveloped Africa. It'd be interesting to see how Africa plays out through all this. The people down in South America and stuff like that. Like from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, I think this sickness is absolutely rampant in Russia right now. And I think they're actually talking about shutting the whole country down. Like, it's that serious. It's getting, like, absolutely out of control there. I could be mistaken about that, but, you know, that's, I suppose, the Western media spin on what's going on over there. And, of course, we have no idea what the fuck's going on in China. There could be, like, millions of people dropping like flies, and there's no way we would even know what's going on inside there. So, anyway, it is what it is. But I find interesting here, though, is that I don't think this is a bear situation here. This is MMT money are going to be, you know, they're going to get embarrassed. But what I think's really going to get hit is, you know, like the politicians that are running my country right now, they seem to think that money doesn't, it grows on trees. Like, literally, these people don't understand how money works. I mean, it's shocking. And, you know, this is the Canadian government bond ETF. I got to tell you, folks, that looks like it's about to fall off a cliff here. So, why? And what I'm worried about, what I'm actually hearing from the sort of the higher-ups and the people that are smart in our society, is they're worried about runaway inflation here. So, I mean, I've talked to you guys about this before. I don't know whether it's actually really in all of our best interest to have this happen in Bitcoin. It's not like Bitcoin has changed and it's any better or worse than it was yesterday. It's more like, what the fuck is happening to the thing that they're pricing these things in? This is getting scary, folks. If anything, it's good that you have a bit of Bitcoins to protect your butt, and you have crypto, and you have to feel empathy for, you know, people that are like pensioners, people that are on Social Security, people that are depending on U.S. government bond coupon payments to pay their standard of living. Good luck. I mean, it's tragic what's happening in our society. This is just like Weimar Germany. Scary.
That almost feels like the conundrum for me is when you get up there, you know, what state will everything else be in, and do I want to let go of whatever Bitcoin I have because you know, inflation or whatever it is. So it's like, okay, well,
yeah. Do you actually even want to own this currency? Yeah, I agree with you.
Do I want more dollars?
This is not easy times to be a human being right now. I'll tell you that much. And it's interesting, you know, hats off to all the celestial people, because they were continually reminding me this is 6 different celestial events, and all of you for the rest of your lives, you know, Lord willing, we survive all this. Hopefully you remember this and you teach your grandkids and your great-grandkids and stuff that when all of these planets all do this shit, all in unison, get ready. Oh, goodness. But that's an excellent point, Derek. I mean, at what point do you say it's actually better to be long Bitcoins or better to be long the actual US dollars? And also, too, what I'm hearing on the site right now is they're more concerned about how this story is going to be spun if Bitcoin does go crazy-ass ape shit here. Right? Are we going to be like considered witches and they're going to hunt us down for our Bitcoins? You know, and they're going to nationalize them and all that kind of shit. I don't know. You just don't know. You know, Roosevelt, he outlawed the ownership of gold because of exactly the same scenario in the 1930s. It can happen. It's going to be a wild ride. There's no doubt about it. All right. So, first off, lightning round. What was that? About 2 or 3 minutes did I spend on Bitcoin?
It was exactly, 2 minutes and 37 seconds.
I'll try my best. Who knows?
No,
good comment, Josh. I blame Shane too. It's all Shane's fault.
Honestly, like I've never been through one of these blow off tops, but it just seems so unfathomable that 877, like.
Well, and that's the worst part about it is, right, don't get into the business of predicting the future. I've told you guys that repeatedly. The world will do things that will just make your jaw drop. And then afterward you go, oh, fuck, I totally knew that was going to happen. Everybody said the US dollar was worthless. Everybody said that they were diluting the currency. Everybody said that this goddamn guy said that it was going to be $50 a loaf of bread. Why didn't I listen to him? You know, blah, 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 blah. You know?
Yeah,
So
I just think of the alt season that's going to follow, and I'm happy to be holding all my alts.
Well, you know, 877s, maybe that's a little insane. I
Even
like
200.
I do like the
heck
4669.
of
I
an
do
alt
like
season.
this level. This does speak to me. The question I would have is, does your cryptocurrency jibe with this story? So some of the cryptocurrencies that have come out of late don't have anything to do with this story whatsoever. Others cryptocurrencies, I think, can leverage this story. You know, really the one that probably is going to make us the most money is how where is it? How this story is going to play out. This is probably going to make more people more money in this space over the next few months than Bitcoin's story. Believe it or not. Right. So, and you know, I still think because, you know, what I'm hearing is the people that are running this network, they just don't give a fuck about the little guy. And the fact that if you're a whale, this network works for you.
Right.
If you're not a whale, this is a waste of your time. You're just throwing your money away. So what I think ends up happening is in the interim, kind of like our buddy... did we all listen to the Frogman? What's his name?
I do. Daniele.
Daniele, can't remember his last name. Really, Estanza or something like that?
Sess Taylor or something.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I think we were both off, but oh well. Point is, you know, what is he? What's his money called? Magic Internet Money. I mean, what a perfect name for a stable coin, eh?
I want to be able to tell people that I made it off of Magic Internet Money.
Yeah.
And like you can't make money off that, but through Spell and Ice and stuff is tokens.
Well, and that's what I heard, that you kind of like that kind of stuff, eh? So
I'm a big fan of his protocols. Yeah.
There you go. Right. So, if anything, what we need to do is we need to because Colin. Oh yeah, Colin's your buddy, right? Colin was the one who.
Colin referred me. I would not say we're buddies. I like Colin. We don't talk a lot.
Okay. Well, maybe let's get you talking more. But it would be kind of cool to have you and Colin interview Danny one day at TRI. Wouldn't that be cool? Fucking A, that would be awesome.
That'd be cool. I think he's talking with Colin and Messi again maybe next week. They started a podcast.
Well, I tell you, man, that broadcast that went over big time. And it's kind of weird how, I don't know, like there was no real reason for me to watch that day, but that was an important broadcast. And I was shocked that like on Twitter they had like, I think at one point there was like 1,500 people listening to that interview. So it was almost like karmically, that was a really important event. And I remember, do you remember there was this funny UFC fight with this black guy, and he was fighting this Russian guy, and at the very end of the fight, he knocked the black guy knocked the Russian guy out, and then the Joe Rogan guy comes up and he goes, the black guy knocks the Russian guy out cold and wins the fight, and instantly the first thing the guy does is he takes his pants off. Do you guys remember that? Do you remember that? It was a few years ago. It was all the rage. It was all across the internet. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I was watching the fight here with Andrew. We were all watching it. We watched it together. And the guy's like, "Why'd you take your pants off?" And he goes, "My balls was hot." I don't know whether you remember that.
Yeah, you're talking about the Black Beast.
Do you remember that? What was that guy's name?
I forget his last name. His nickname is the Black Beast, I think.
Yeah, it could be. That would be fitting.
Yeah, he said his balls were hot.
It was weird. It was like it was a karmic moment in space and time, and I don't know why I was there, but I was there and I watched it. We all were laughing our asses off for like weeks after that. I feel like that Danny video was exactly the same thing. It was like some sort of karmic moment that was supposed to happen. It's freaky, really freaky. So I was Derek Lewis. Thank you very much, Richie. Appreciate that. So I was really, really impressed with that Danny. That Danny guy's smart as shit, eh? Fuck. And what they're doing. I also like this whole idea that they can start sort of cross communicating between all these chains, which we've sort of been talking about for so long. But he's the type of guy where he's actually smart enough to actually get this shit working and going, which I was so impressed with. So, and Alex, you guys over at Ubic, and every time I mention Ubic, there's at least 2 or 3 people that go, oh, fuck, Beamish going on about Ubic again. I just wish he would stop talking about that. And Geo, oh, God, here he goes about Geo again. But I suppose if all of those guys all got hooked up together, maybe Ubic and Geo will have their day in the sun. Who knows? All right, so I guess the point that I would just make is, I guess the most important thing that I heard from him, I didn't hear any fear in his voice at all. None whatsoever. He didn't give a flying fuck about any. He didn't care about the Americans, didn't care about anything. And I was stunned by that. And it just feels, and when I talked to Sjord, and of course Sjord is hip deep with Nacho Don. No, wait a minute. No, that's not who is. Who's the guy that runs Luna? Do Kwon?
Do Kwon, yeah.
No fear. I don't hear any fear out of these guys at all. No fear whatsoever, which is shocking. I mean, let's hope these things go 10x, 100x, and we can make some great money, and then they'll start getting fearful. But I don't hear any. It's quite literally. I think I said, and I say this on the site with Bitcoin. Literally, the moment, literally, like you could have pinpointed it. Literally, the second JP came out right here and said, "Well, I don't have any plans to ban Bitcoin. I don't give a shit about them." The whole fucking market just launched. I couldn't believe it. So, like I said, I don't hear any fear out of these guys at all. So put the fact that I hear no fear out of them, and I think their charts are actually still very bullish. Like if we put up like a chart of, I think I got another buy signal on, what the hell is that coin? It just came out, Solana. You guys are all excited about that thing.
Yeah, I think it had a bot set up.
Look at that! Oh, you son of a bitch. There she goes. Excuse my French. And literally, I mean, we could go through them. Whether it be Bitcoin or that's not what I wanted to show you. Is it this one? Actually, just to finish off the Bitcoin thought here, what I wanted to show you guys, which is the levels that I'm actually working with now, is since we just took out that high, guess where I'm thinking. Oh, hello. There's another one, 212,000. So, 213. This is going to be crazy.
I get scared when you get more optimistic than I do.
Oh, no.
Usually I feel it's the other way around. I'm the moon boy, and you're like, well, hold your horses.
Yeah. Well, and that's the problem, right, is this is such a massive event here. This is huge. If anything, just going back to that 13, 14, as I said there a moment ago, just because it's moving higher, that doesn't mean it's a buy. And at any given point in time, you have to wait for sort of the Colin pump chaser zone. That was good. Did Colin ever sort of teach you that kind of concept when you were over hanging out with him?
Yeah, I mean, he talks about it nearly every week on his Friday stream.
Yeah. So, me, 38.2, first stop target kind of stuff. I do like that pump chaser zone kind of thinking. You sort of think like areas on the chart you want to think about buying if you could in a very strong upmarket state, kind of like what you see on the yellow here. So if you did want to buy, you actually did want to get in, I think you have to wait for the Colin pump chaser zone, which sucks because it just might not come. And if it doesn't come, you can't really chase. You're just not allowed to chase. Like I said, the buy signal was when JP basically just said, You guys got the green light. Go have some fun. And woohoo! Away we go. Okay, so I talked a little bit about Solana here. Not really the best levels because that chart was so messy. I was going to dude it up here, and then of course I got distracted by Bitcoin again. But SOLUSDT. And I guess you guys everybody's totally comfortable with Tether. I don't think Tether's in trouble, so I guess everything's fine there. I don't know whether I would do that off of a weekly chart, but something like a daily. One low, two lows, three lows, four lows. Well, it looks pretty uppy. We have good old trend line breaks. Maybe don't take the trade here. You're tempted to take the trade here. Don't get me wrong. But as you can see, probably best just to wait for the W. In this particular case, it's not really a huge difference, but nonetheless, you've got that structure now behind you. So I think that's actually a pretty darn bullish looking chart.
It's a big 2-month W too.
Yeah. I mean, the market could take this back. This could be a big honkin' harmonic, but you can see internal price momentum looks pretty good here. I mean, volume's a little suspect, but often you actually have to have the thing break out to bring the volume in. What we really want to see is we just want to make sure we see a nice trending OBV that's higher highs and higher lows. The fact that nobody's really taken over here, ideally we'd like to see the bull step up and take over. But that can sometimes, that can be delayed a little bit. So just be forward. Kind of like here, right? You see volumes kind of, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. We break through that high and then the volume comes pouring in here, right? So you can sometimes have these uppy moves on relatively light volume just as long as momentum is still pointing higher and OBV is nice and happy. But I guess what I wanted to show you is maybe upside objectives. So, corn goes up to, I can't see how we can't hit 100,000. I think that's a foregone conclusion. I think we go up to 200, but nonetheless, comparatively speaking, hopefully you can see if and when Bitcoin does its ABCDs and all those projections higher, so you can start to see this guy doing its levels as well. So we go, we'll just flip this around. Boom, 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 and boom. Hey, there you go. Look at that. So interesting how waiting for the W on the other side of the trend line break is basically taking the bot level right there, right? Fascinating. So where the hell is this thing going? So boobity boo, $309. So still almost a double from where we are now. Still a lot of ways to go. And I guess that kind of makes sense, right? Because Bitcoin's what, 60, 70 G's? And didn't we have a stop at about 120 or something like that? I seem to remember that was the number. Up here. Bitcoin, where are you? What are you doing? There we go. Yeah. Oh, I like this one. 2.618. That one's up at 114. So that's basically a double from where we are. So, yeah, I could see that. Could feel like the whole market just going to get sucked higher here. The interesting thing is I don't think that's the end of the move. That's just one leg higher. I think I showed you earlier. Yeah, this guy up here, that 4669 is up at 178. Like I like the idea of us taking a stab up top here. I think this is just a stopping point. What I could see happen though is kind of like this Solana. You'll have your push up top, and we could probably even do foggy boggies off all of this as well to sort of validate those levels. So we could go this one. And boom. Hey, look at that. Move stop to scratch, or trailing, beg your pardon. And there's the foggy boggy objective, 332. We could also do one off of this huge range. So that starts painting some really. That would be sort of like your Bitcoin 200,000 kind of target. This thing gets up into that 600 area. Tell you, man. We're coming into the very tail end of this 4-year cycle. So it's almost like you're just giddy. It's just like the numbers are silly. You know, you guys are going to have to learn, you know, and we went through this at 17, 18 bull market. And it's interesting. Names like this were just, you know, twinkling in No Neck Man's eyes, right? What's it? Do you guys know who the guy is I'm referring to? What's that guy's name? He's like a total player, dude, in crypto.
I don't. The only no neck person I know in crypto Twitter is Trader Main, and I don't think it was him. It was some dude that was on with Crypto Cobain and Ledger, right?
Yeah. That Crypto Cobain guy had him on his show, yeah.
Anyway,
he was over the top bullish of this Solana, so I credit the story to him. I don't even know if it's his story or not, but anyway. What was it I wanted to show you guys? Oh yeah, I guess like the last cycle. What's really weird, and this is the trap you guys have to be very careful of. Actually, this might not even have it, right? Was this thing around last cycle? I don't think it was. Nope. I gotta go somewhere else. How about stamp? Yay, stamp. You have to just be very careful that once we get into the new year, any kind of pumps following that are probably the end of the move. So, you know, here for instance, there's December 14th. There was one more pump here into early January in the altcoins. This was super frivolous. It'd be interesting even to see what Ethereum did through this. How can I do that? Oh, I guess we can do it here. Yeah, we'll just go remove indicators, and then we'll go compare, and we'll go ETHUSD. I don't know whether Ethereum, ETH. I don't know whether Ethereum itself was in divergence. Might be interesting to see. Yeah, so you see how Bitcoin topped in December 17, right? December 17 of 17. Interesting. But notice how Ethereum actually topped January 14. So this is the trap you have to be very, very careful of. Is there will be sort of, and this is what they call an exit pump in crypto, where Bitcoin will not go to new highs. But the alts will, and this is actually the insiders in altcoin land getting out. So this is what we have to be very, very careful of. Do not go and buy a shitload of fucking altcoins after January 1st into 2022. I think it's a trap. So be forewarned, folks. I mean, that's just Brian speaking his mind to you. Obviously, no financial advice. Do as your plan says. But actually, that's not a bad illustration. I kind of like that. That's really good. So remember I said there a moment ago, like I think like Ethereum is sort of like right here right now, just getting going. And we got some serious insanity in not only Ethereum, but also in all the DeFi proxies. Maybe it's this pump, sort of exit pump window that's all about the bridging and all of the shit coins can finally get onto the market and all that kind of stuff. That wouldn't surprise me at all. So, all right. So I'm not quite sure if I'm actually doing any help here tonight. Are you guys enjoying the conversation?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. Well, that's good. Encouraging. Let's see how they're doing over there on YouTube. Actually, there's not that many people here. Only 10, 15 people. So, you must recite the magic incantation to make money. Let's go, Brandon. Who's Brandon?
I don't know. I think that comment was around MIM though.
Oh,
it was around the time we were talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I've never been comfortable with Tether, but that doesn't make it not useful. Yeah, I don't know, crazy Tether story. Would love your take on Cripple. Is Cripple still alive? I didn't even know Cripple was still around.
It's number 7 on our spreadsheet.
Is it? Jesus. How many coins have they issued since we last talked? Let's see what this thing looks like.
I don't know if they've issued a lot, but I'm sure Judd is still selling them.
And I guess they settled all their grievances with the Securities and Exchange Commissions and all that.
It's been all good news. Derek, do you know more?
Well, no, I mean, no. When you said Jeb was selling them, I know he's been dumping coins for a long time.
It's been for
I was kind of
years.
smiling.
Yeah, but no, all the news I've heard about their lawsuit and stuff has been very positive for XRP.
Yeah, it sounds like this might have got away with a fine.
Yeah. So I guess, this is probably a really good analogy of just like dog money. So, I sat in a range and, after a while, boom. And actually dog money kind of did the same thing. It had a big initial burst and then it had a second burst and then that was it and I was done. Had to come back down, clean up. I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually kind of what to expect out of dog money over the next little while. And then slowly but surely you'll start climbing the wall of worry. This one in particular, it couldn't touch it right there. It's kind of no man's land. The problem that I have with Cripple is it's not really the whole purpose of decentralization of the blockchain sort of technology story. So it can be used in a very efficient and quick manner to do massive transactions. It takes a leap of faith, of trust in these transactions. If I understand correctly, they even created like a corporation around this entity. And I even remember when I first got into the space back here, I remember talking to one guy in particular who used to know this story really well. And he said by far, it's far surpasses Bitcoin in its use in the remittance business. And if you were going to move blockchain technology into the banking and remittance business, this is the way you go about doing it. The problem here, though, of course, is what's the value of one of these units? Technically, they're worthless. So it's just really it's a function of, do we have to place these units into treasuries so that they can use them very freely and easily to move assets across the blockchain. The more homes they find for these, I think the greater the value of the coin. But at the end of the day, I don't think the coin itself actually has any intrinsic value. So that's one reason why I don't really like this story. It's a leap of faith. You got to trust the guys that are running the network. Technically speaking, I think there's a lot better stories. Somebody showed me this today, and I would much rather take a shot on throwing some money at an idea like this, just as it's breaking out here. Seeing if I can get like that free shot on something like this, that I think has got a pretty good chance versus, something like that. I could take a shot on that. But something like the Cripple, just sort of sitting middle of the range here, it's kind of like a coin toss as far as I'm concerned. And then probably too, if we just like look at just raw momentum, my hunch is it's probably just middle of the road. Yeah, there's not really a hell of a lot to get too excited about here. Again, a bit of a momentum squeeze. So when this resolves itself either up or down, you don't know which way it's going to go. Great. Willie, nothing really to write home about. Volume, nothing really to write home about. I mean, I suppose if you wanted to buy, and we saw a lot of these coins that we analyzed through the summer. I mean, there's your double bottom. It's pretty obvious. So that's at 73. What double of that would be? What, about 145, 150? So interesting how it got up to 140. So anybody that did buy down in the 50s, 60s area here, they did get their double off. That's what that move is. Notice this move to new highs is on a bearish divergence. That's not good. Bearish divergence in RSI. That's not good. So sure enough, boosh. We have a simple rule. During the bear divs, you better just let it cool down. Wait for these W's to start forming again. All right, well, things are looking a little better. So maybe off of this level here, you got a little bit of a trade working right now. Again, though, is this really kind of an idea that I would... I guess, Nick, you're doing level 2 right now. Would I be interested in buying at that kind of level right in there on the volume profile?
No.
That's the top of value. And usually I used to work with this old gnarly pit trader, John Hoagland. And that's the little icon that we use to describe him. Actually, you might even argue, although it's not the best example, but you might even argue, well, even there. So there's the bottom of value. You might even, well, we didn't really get below value here. Nah, honestly, it just looks like it's banging. There's the bottom of value. There's the top of value. They've stabbed up into here. You can see the double top breakdown failure back into value. We got back down to the bottom of value. We rallied back up to the top of value. We put in all these divergences and momentum, and we're back down in value again. So, boring. I think there's a lot easier places to make money in this world than this kind of name. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents. Like, I'll show you, it's not a cryptocurrency, but who can find me a cryptocurrency that looks like that? That is what I want to see. That is what I'm buying in the stock market. You might think that's boring as fuck, but when I see a chart that looks like that, I get excited. So, I mean, hopefully you see the difference between that I like and not here. I mean, I'm long from down here off of the double bottom, and that. Ugh. I mean, maybe I'm long from down here. Or maybe that double bottom. But up here, ugh. Apples and oranges. So I don't know. What do you think? Does that answer your question about Ripple? Anyone?
One other comment about you mentioned ICP's chart looking okay.
Yeah, well, that's actually one of our OGs was in the day trader room with me this morning. And we were kicking around ideas, and I kind of like the look of that. I mean, look at that. I mean, what letter of the alphabet is that? If we change that to a line chart, what letter is that? That's the kind of shit I like. And you see the W in RSI. You see the W in Willie. You can kind of see, and actually I like this. What do we call this? Nick, you just learned this, so you should know this.
Wait, I just learned this? Or in level 1?
How long ago did you take the level 1?
I mean, that's a MACD divergence.
Yeah. Right there. So that's actually a buy signal for me there.
The one thing that I wanted to mention on this one, I don't know the schedule that it releases. So maybe they have tokens locked up for another year. But seed price for this was 3 cents. So they're still up 1,500x on it.
Sure. Yeah, so it'd be good to know what the hold period, when that comes off.
The chart does look good, though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the way I would look at this is, I love it when I can get 3 solid lows, especially with that W. So you got 1 low, 2 low, 3 low. You want to take a shot here at like $46.20. A risk down to a break of 39. So you're gonna risk what's that, about maybe I don't know, 15% or something on your capital. It's not a terrible shot. That is a big number, though. I don't like how big that number is. But I don't mind that. This would be a really good place for an option trade. So, but unfortunately, we're just not at the point with options with these kind of things yet. But I would love to buy a call option on that.
Hero's working on them.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Isn't one of the principals of Hero? He's an old options guy from Chicago, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think two of them are Dan Gunsberg and Rob Levy.
Yeah. So the problem with the cryptocurrency options is clearing corporation. How do you figure out and you're going to go through this actually learning about the futures market and why the US futures market grew the way that it did with the introduction of clearing corporations. And they just can't wrap their head around clearing corporations for crypto derivatives just yet. It's a tough one. You know, they got the CME futures going, so that's basically a clearing corporation cleared product, but it's cash settled. It's not physical settled, is it? So there's still an issue with that. I don't know when we're going to get physically settled contracts. You know what? I need to get a beverage. I can feel that I'm getting parched, and I don't want to get too parched. So I'll be right back.
So Derek or Ben, I had a thought, and I'm wondering what you guys think about, or chat.
I
Since
do this
Bitcoin,
in daily briefs too, eh? I just get up and walk away.
It's all right. I started talking, but I was just curious, Brian, if it'd be a good idea if we look at some of these pairs versus Bitcoin, because with Bitcoin running like this, a lot of times there's a tendency for it to leave alts in the dust, and so I'm wondering if it's actually good to look if the chart looks bullish against Bitcoin and not necessarily the dollar.
Well, if it can look bullish against Bitcoin, then it's going to look even more insanely bullish versus dollar. So, I think there was a couple that we were looking at versus Bitcoin today, and we're even like, wow, that's versus Bitcoin. What does it look like versus dollar? And it's just like a runaway bull. Like some of my shitcoins, I was surprised. A couple of these shitcoins actually were rallying. This GBTC one kind of thing. Look at that. That's versus Bitcoin. That's what it did versus Bitcoin today. So what the hell does it look versus dollar? There was, what was the one on the site? I think Sharktoshi was making a killing off of it. So there is that GBTC versus dollar. Look at that. Pretty chart, eh? So this is actually what's supposed to happen at the end of this run here. All this shit will start lifting into the end of this market. And you're going to be like, now why the fuck are they rallying this thing? You know, like back in March, April, when they were lifting dog money, right? Why on earth did this thing, and what is that? That's $35 up to $160? Like, what the hell? So, when the expression, as we always said, is when the shit starts to rally, that's when we're getting near the end of the move. So, when this stuff actually starts making new highs, then we know we're probably pretty much done. So there's a good example. I mean, I would prefer you look at this as versus USD. And the interesting thing is can you see versus USD? Actually, this thing spat out a buy signal, 5 days ago. So you can't even make the argument that you didn't get forward notice that something was about to happen here. That's the weird part about all this. And that's what I find with capitalism is it drives you crazy. People will say, well, there's no way you could get in on this. Look at it. It was just one day, big spike. Well, that's not actually true. You know, and the thing about dog money, they had a lot. There was a very long window where you could have got into dog money at around, 15 cents or something like that. And it just sat there day after day after day. Actually, it was like 15 sats. So, we can go back and look at it versus Bitcoin. That's totally fine. If it's rallying versus Bitcoin, then great, rock on. And that was sort of like what this guy did. Remember that Solve? That's Solve. That's what it was. It was Solve. Like Sharktoshi on the site was like, holy Jesus, I'm rich. Look at me. There's it versus Bitcoin. What do you think? Is that a pretty good altcoin to be in right now?
It's okay.
If you bought this W here, that's 163 sats. So boom, you already got, there's your double. And then double that, boom, out goes another half. So your next order is sitting at 1,200. And how high did we get here? We got 820. So your next order is sitting right up here. And that's going to be your third double. This is kind of why I like trading these shit coins. Is, man, you can make a lot of money really quickly. So, I don't know. Does that answer your question?
I don't think so. Because
I guess again.
I guess because if you're going to be investing in alts right now, you should be reasonably confident that they're going to outperform Bitcoin. Because if they aren't, you should just be in Bitcoin. It would be kind of my train of thought on crypto.
I think you're coming in at the very end of a very long cycle that really the bottom came in when Da Vinci and I did that interview. Remember back in the winter of 2019?
Mm-hmm.
That was the bottom of the market. So here we are up at the top of the market, and you're talking, number one, you're talking about investing. You can't invest in this shit. Right? This is all speculative stuff. And if it's running like this, there's no way you can touch that.
Well, sure. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if something, not if a chart has exploded via Bitcoin or versus Bitcoin, but if it actually is printing a bullish chart that you might want to buy.
I think you are trying to thread the needle. Remember I told you about that Ethereum and into that January period. So you're using the logic that this is an acceptable investing window, and I'm saying you're coming in at the very end of the move and you're trying to thread a needle here. And you're saying, okay, so which one do I want to be in? Like, I always see this happen at the end of bull markets. You know, it's like... classic when I was a broker. I used to always have people come in and go, oh yeah, I'm diversified. I own gold and silver. It's like, what are you on drugs? But they would say it with a complete straight face. So now you're going to have people come in and go, oh yeah, I'm diversified. I own Bitcoin and Solve, right? And I think Solve's going to outperform. And I'm telling you that over the course of the next 2 years, it'll be interesting to see whether Solve even exists in 1.5 years' time. I don't know. But I'll tell you, the last couple cycles I've seen, a lot of these altcoins don't make it through to the other side. So I hear what you're saying, Nick. I think you have to live through a correction in this market. You have to watch how the public is going to get sucked into buying the top of all this shit. Then you have to watch the correction. You have to see the bloodshed. You have to see where people are like, actually, you can see the fear in their eyes. You can see their hopes and their dreams are being crushed in front of them on a daily basis in the marketplace. Then you actually have to get to the point where instead of everybody right now thinking crypto is going to go up, everybody and their brother says that crypto is going to go down. And this is a bad investment. Then when you see the W's come in, then you know it's time to invest. So I would make the argument, you can speculate and you can have fun in here, but this is not an investing window at all. Sorry. That's my 2 cents. Hopefully I'm 120% wrong. Anyway, hope that helps a little bit, Nick. I like the idea of just, if you're going to take a shot on these things, I appreciate that you want to see that they're outperforming Bitcoin. I don't have a problem with that logic. You want to make that as one of sort of your rules to consider investing. I just don't think it's going to translate into anything longer than maybe like, I don't know, 2 or 3 month window tops.
I mean, that is my time frame right now.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not planning on holding any alt past whenever this top is.
Well, I do like the idea that if you see the alts start ramping up to new highs and Bitcoin stalling out and then starts emming out, then you know that we're probably near the end.
Yep.
So we haven't had sort of, and actually what went through the spring there was actually a nice little mini sort of case of what we should expect to see happen here. I was actually surprised, like my roommate here, he works in the VC industry here in crypto. And the phones, they just stopped ringing there once we got to about sort of the middle to the end of June. So it's remarkable how you can be right in the middle of the bull and everybody's bull, bull. And then the whole damn thing can stop just on a dime and it's just like, holy shit, who turned out the lights? So it can end pretty damn quick. If you're going to take your shot, I mean, Nick, you want to say, look, I can only buy an idea that has a W working versus USD and a W working Bitcoin. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Well, if it helps your relative anxiety level, rock on. All right. I don't know whether I can really add anything more to that question, but that would be my response.
Sure. Thanks.
All right, so looks like we've got a little bit of a pullback happening in the corn. We've said this before. Willie's stupid here. There's no way in hell I can buy, and of course I'd be looking for 38.2. Colin pump chaser zone. And actually the cool part about Bitcoin right now is 38.2, that Colin pump chaser zone. It is basically a Wyckoff check. I'm not even drinking tonight. That was just a pop burp. So we go 38 point. Actually, I think we have pump chaser zone. This is Colin's pump chaser zone. Notice that all that is just a Benkoff check. So you didn't know whether I was going to be able to sneak that in tonight, did you, Ben? So you can see that's just basically.
And it took 1.5 hours.
Yeah, that's not bad. I snuck it in somewhere. That would be sort of your buying window. Actually, and this is a really good analogy, Nick, you just did this, where can you see the market has accepted, and actually this is a really cool analogy. You see how it popped up here, then it pulled back and it went, nope, I want to be up here. See that tail right there? So this is a really good example of the market accepting above value. What should happen if we accept above value like this? Derek, you can always answer this too. Or not. Does anybody remember what the volume profile
When
module?
you talking about accepting back into value?
No, accepting above value, right? Look at this structure. We went up, we broke out, we came back, we kissed the high, and the buyers went, nope, get your ass out of there, head higher. So literally you can see there's the top of value. We punched up through the top of value. We came back. Then the market went, nope, I want higher, market structure. What's supposed to happen if this happens above value?
Is it supposed to leave?
It's supposed to rally. So long and short of it is the market's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Not a big surprise. Anyway, I was kind of hoping that would be a more obvious answer, but maybe it was kind of a funny question. Usually, too, we should see a fight at this old high. So usually what ends up happening is they have to punch the market up in through this level. It's probably a bunch of stop loss orders and stuff too, like a liquidity pool. I don't know if you've ever heard me say, and then they went after the stops. That would be a good example of that. And now we're just sort of like the calm after the storm. Like you could probably drill down to like a lower time frame chart. And there's probably some shenanigans. I bet you there's like bear divs up here. So there's probably like little day traders and stuff shorting. Let's see. Well, gee whiz, we sure got overbought there, eh? So you can actually see the bear div and Willie started over here on this candle right there. It's probably not a trade I would do, but it does make sense, especially if you're like an algorithm operator. So market's super strong here. Then we start emming out. This just looks like a normal, healthy pullback. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. It's probably a half decent trade location, especially along here, right? This is the, again, 2 times in a row. Benkoff check off of the old breakout level, and that tail there needs to be eaten, and that's what we call the POC. So what we should probably do is just like slam down in here and then bounce off of there. So we'll see how that goes. So, what else should we talk about tonight? We sure have talked a lot of Bitcoin, eh? DeFi perp. Probably the DeFiers. They probably want to look at this thing. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, it's perking up. Interestingly enough, remember I said earlier I wouldn't be surprised if Ethereum really rocks and rolls here. I had drawn a chart, worried that we had to come back and do a reload zone, but I think this looks like all it did was pulled back into Colin Pump Chaser zone, and 1 low, 2 lows, 3 lows, 4 lows, 5 lows. Gee whiz, this thing sure looks like it's trying to base out here. Can we get a W on the other side of this trend line? Almost. It's looking pretty close. Then can we get bot levels to set up a trend continuation trade? Ooh, right off that double bottom. The only problem with this is, if you're going to chase this now, if we hit the 50 level, you actually have to get out if we pull back to this 25 level. That's the move stop to scratch level. So we could still, I think these pullbacks, look how all of those 3 tails all stopped right on that 25 level. It's like every time it came down to that level, buy orders just gobbled it up. Not a bad little momentum turn. Some nice W's starting to come in. So it looks like DeFi is trying to get its act together. I also noticed like Sjord's Luna, it's starting to perk back up. We talked about that SOL. That thing's got a bot going, so it looks like it's probably one of the DeFiers that's pushing higher. Sjord's where's Luna? There it is. Oh, it's actually down a bit. It was up earlier. Not overly impressed with the daily chart. It looks like we're in some sort of massive channel here. So, Rock on Do Kwon and all that. Nacho Don and Sjord. See, it's a pretty cool looking channel. I think that makes sense. So we should see a bit of traffic up against this midpoint of the channel. If it can jump up above there, then stabs to new high. I think probably the most compelling image for Luna right now is the 4 hour. There was a half decent little trade. Nice little bull div. Came in and then nice little W's. And, the trade should theoretically be, the bare minimum. Actually, let's ask the question. Actually, we'll just leave this open to everybody. If I was going to just draw up a nice simple target that we should always use as a nice sort of base measure, what should be my target? If I was thinking about, hey, this thing's going to rally or sell off, what should I default to? Anybody want to help me?
At the 50%.
Sounds good. So where is 50%? You want to create like a little template. It's just 50% roll. Oh, what a surprise. There we are. So you notice there's a cute little W right here, right off that channel line, eh? And this is, and I suppose at some point you could probably even get on that mirror thing. I'm not quite sure how to do this. Sjord and Julian are way smarter at this stuff than I am. But there's your double bottom. There's your 50% rule. 1.86 risk reward. That's not bad, but I think actually we can crisp this up a little bit. So double bottom breakout is that level there. So that's 37.09. So let's say you went long at 37.10. There's 37.10. And your risk is to a break of this low, 85. Well, let's give it to, say, 75. So you give it a dime extra, something like that. So it's a 2.3 risk reward. Tell you folks, and let's see if anybody can help me with trivia. If you have a risk reward that's at least or $2 of reward for every dollar taken in risk. How often do you have to be right? Let's say you have an even number of trades, 100 trades. How many of those trades have to work, or what percentage of those trades have to work just for you to be a scratch trader? Don't lose money, don't make money. Thank you, gentlemen. Looks like everybody in the, I don't know, one person in the Hangout knows. Wade knows. Very good. It's really important that you all understand this, because this is the difference between people who make money at trading and people who lose money at trading over the long run, folks. It's not really a question of you being right 100% of the time. In fact, just to be a scratch trader with this kind of model, you only have to be right like 30-40% of the time, less than half. And Wade is the only person who answered the damn question. 30 people over there on YouTube, and only one person can answer the question. I watched another guy on YouTube who did these channels, and he put the question out, and he got like 20 responses back. So, what is it? Do you guys just, you don't really respect me anymore? I talk too much? What is it?
It's got to be it.
What? You don't respect me, or I talk too much, or both?
Hey, I answered. It was just on the meat chat.
Yeah. You guys, well, let's see. Oh, so there, we only got 33%. Derek and Ben are like, oh, fuck it. He's asking another goddamn question.
It's 34%, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't want to steal Nick's thunder.
It's just kind of funny. I mentioned that on the Daily Briefs recently, right? There's other educators that are a little bit more, they've got a little bit better, more receptive audience, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so I would say from a trader's perspective, this trade's actually done. You should book the profit, on to the next trade. Also, too, notice, do you see how value high? This is a good example where do you see how we're testing the top of value high? And it looks like we're getting rejected back down. We're not ready to accept outside of value. So that's actually a really good learning piece there for you. So anyway. All right. Well, I've been just blabbing away here endlessly. What do you think we should do next, guys? Ben, you're pretty quiet. What do you want me to do next?
Yeah, so I have a question I wanted to throw out to you.
Right.
So going back to, we were talking earlier about a Bitcoin ETF.
Bitcoin! Sorry.
If there was a physically settled Bitcoin ETF, would that mean that Bitcoin then becomes a regulated market? And with that, the intent of the question is, right now, don't institutions have the ability to profit from the volatility of Bitcoin through things like Coinbase or different ETFs, yet still they're able to, I guess they can go out and manipulate the price on an unregulated market?
I would say yes, you are correct. I find it a bit sad in our society that it's gotten to the point of, if you can get away with it, good for you. Which we didn't used to live in a society like this. We used to live in a society where you were theoretically supposed to kind of maintain a moral code. And it's weird. Whenever you get like arrested or sent to trial or something, they remind you that you were supposed to have an ethical duty and all that shit. But day to day, I don't see anybody obeying ethics anymore, which is very, very sad. Does theoretically, like the oil market, their ETFs that they operate are based off of the futures contracts, like that USO product. And I don't know whether you saw what they did to crude oil futures through that crazy sickness crisis. I mean, how do you realistically have a futures contract trading minus $30 a barrel? I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all. But there was nothing written in the rules that it couldn't happen. So as a result, somebody was able to get away with it, and they did. But I don't think it was ethical what happened there. What was going on there? Well, it turns out that a lot of these exchange-traded funds were linked to the futures market. And so if you drove, and this is where it gets complicated about futures, but theoretically the spot market contract, the only people that should be in that contract are the people who are actually going to take delivery of that actual asset. So they have what's called in the futures industry first notice date. So anybody who's trading a futures contract, a trader, quote unquote, they're long gone by that first notice date. And when I was at my prop firm, our bosses usually literally went from trader to trader to trader to trader, making sure that if you were in a contract that was rolling over, i.e. you hit that first notice date, you were not in that contract anymore. So what would be the purpose to drive that crude oil contract to minus $30 a barrel? Well, it was to screw the ETF holders that the ETF was linked to those futures contracts. So the ETF went to staggeringly low levels. Although nobody who actually did any business in the crude oil business, none of them were affected by minus $30 crude because nobody was in that contract. It's just the way the futures industry works, which is scary for something like Bitcoin. Because remember, we said Bitcoin is a cash-settled futures contract. So technically, if some guy comes along and he just wants to shit on Bitcoin and just drive it into the ground and he's got enough money, it doesn't matter about the Bitcoin fundamentals. He can just keep driving it down, driving it down, driving it down. And because it's not like the contract settles, so you have to deliver Bitcoins. It's just a cash settlement. It's just that you have to cut a check in US dollars for whatever the difference in the index is. So the fact that it's monetarily based and not physically Bitcoin based means that it's highly susceptible to manipulation. And that's the scary part. If it was physical Bitcoins that were delivered, then I think you could actually have some control over, blatant market manipulation. Because then I think you could actually hedge the product, with actually physically mined Bitcoins. So that's a whole conundrum unto itself. Now, with regard to the regulation, I think you're right that the 1% would prefer that Bitcoin stay unregulated so that they can continue their market manipulation games. Are you sitting here telling me that this unregulated market in this kind of world that we live in, where fucking Winnie the Pooh basically is trying to control the world economy, and in China it's not policy, but the way their society works is if you get taken advantage of by a scammer, you're the one who's the idiot. You're the fool. You're the sucker. You're the guy who should be ashamed of yourself, not the scammer. So if you live in that kind of environment, then it fosters the environment of scamming. It encourages scamming. And I think we actually have institutional level scamming. So to answer your question with regulation, I think that the people that are 1% are scamming as much as they possibly can. And we now seem to live in a world where ironically enough, if you get scammed, you're the sucker. And that really bothers me immensely. So I don't know whether that answers your question, but that those are some of the thoughts that come to mind when I think about what you asked me.
Yeah, it's that's good. I mean, my thinking is, I guess we just always, there was this thought that institutions wanted a physically settled Bitcoin ETF in my mind, but I'm starting to think otherwise now, that it's probably in their best interest for that never to happen.
I think the institutions want to somehow meet their production quotas to keep their jobs. And what's ending up happening is people are chasing returns. And in those kind of environments, logic just goes right out the window. Somebody just posted Shark Toshi, teacher pension funds about to get totally pawned. I couldn't agree with that anymore. You know, if anything, the Wall Street people like Goldman Sachs and stuff like that, they need these pension funds to come in and buy these bags. And that's basically what the pension funds and shit did in gold when they bought it at $800 in 1980. And I used to prospect guys like 10, 15 years later. I remember there's one guy, I used to call him up at least once every 3 or 4 months. He'd go, Brian, I bought my gold at $700 an ounce, and I ain't selling until it gets back there. And how ironic, you guys, that doesn't mean anything to you now. But I remember, gold was like $200-300 an ounce at that point, and we all just sort of laugh at him. And he'd just sit there, I ain't selling, I ain't fucking selling. And, well, he's vindicated now, I suppose. But I believe that actually the end game for a lot of sort of Goldman Sachs kind of guys. I've told you the story that there were two traders. That guy on CNBC, the bald guy, what the hell's his name? Kramer? He used to go on about two Wall Street hedge fund dudes made a bet that they could take crude oil to $200 a barrel. It was two guys. So could there be maybe half a dozen guys on Wall Street right now going, okay, let's see if we can get this silly corn up at I don't know, 150, 200. Let's see if we can get the pension funds to come in hard here up top and panic buy, right? Could that be the case? Sure. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. So, yeah, I do find that the ethics of our society has completely collapsed. And I hate to say it, I think this is fostered by when Alan Greenspan and the U.S. Federal Reserve basically stepped in and distorted the entire money system after 9/11. So that's how long ago this started. So you can't even say that this began even, really, I would even say, through Obama or through Trump. No, this goes back decades. Unfortunately, now we're in the environment where they've let this fester for decades, and now we have an uncontrollable problem. They should have stepped in and stopped this at the get-go, but they didn't. And like I said, now we live in a world where technically if somebody actually goes, the emperor doesn't have any clothes on, this whole society could collapse, which is sad, but could happen. I don't think it's going to. I think it's interesting to watch how all the politicians, all the 1%, all the bankers, that you can see them all they're all doing this dance, and they're all like, okay, just, keep a straight face. Okay, the cameras are on, the public's watching, everybody knows the script. Okay, stay on message, nobody drop the ball. That's the feeling I get with the way our society is being manipulated right now. So it's coming from everywhere, dude. Everywhere. Sucks, eh? Oh, well. All right. Yeah, see, so people are saying people think they're going to buy that Bitcoin ETF and they're actually buying Bitcoins when they're not. They're going to be buying this Bitcoin ETF that is marked to market based off of these Bitcoin futures that are nothing more than cash settled. There, ironically
Right.
enough, none of this has anything to actually do with Bitcoins. That's the scary part about all this. Like, there's a whole infrastructure is being built, and yet there's no underlying value to any of it. That's scary. Anyway. Where should we go next? So Ben got a question in. Nick got a couple questions in. Derek, what's on your mind? And by all means, let's see if Brian can bullshit some answer here to make you feel better. I mean, I'm just giving you my opinion. I have no idea whether I'm talking the truth here or not, but it sure makes good edutainment, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any particular question.
Oh, okay. Not even about harmonics? How about what
Well, yeah.
Steven's favorite color underwear? I don't know.
Harmonic is a whole different story. That's going to take a while to even get my head around that. I mean, yeah.
All right. Well, we got all term. But Sharktoshi sure is active over there, and Wade Wilkins. I think we got to get Wade Wilkins on a call here. People think, okay, what's this? Distort the money system, distort the morals and value system. I am seeing a lot of that too, which is interesting. Do you guys, and it's going to be an interesting poll for you guys. Do you find that Christianity is waning in your part of the world? Do you even hear people talk about like morality and Christian ethics and those kind of things?
I mean, yes, but I feel like, so I'm about 40 years old. I feel like a lot of the people that are older than me take their religion a lot more seriously than a lot more people that are younger than me.
All right.
I could agree with that.
And like, it might not be right where I am at 40, but it seems like the younger generation doesn't care quite as much on as a whole. Like, obviously there are plenty of people who are still very religious, but
How about morality? Do people give a fuck anymore?
I mean, I certainly do, but
Yeah, I feel like that's almost on an individual basis. I think when we look at a lot of the people that are out front speaking and that type of thing, I think a lot of that's gone. But I also feel like since there's so many other avenues, I don't even watch the news anymore. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I kind of get my insight from, I guess, alternate news outlets and things like that. And so to try to make the best, decisions from the most amount of data I can. But
do you find that your news is being filtered based on the sort of inputs that you're telling social media sort of trigger you?
I do think it is. I do definitely. I try not to use Google anymore because I think Google is just that's very manipulated in terms of like what you see and that type of thing. More specifically to a lot of the world events that are going on and things like that. I think a lot of it's skewed towards
to try and trigger you.
To whatever the situation is. If it's they want to trigger the public, then they show those type of things. If it's something going on and they don't want you to know about it, or they don't want to have out in the front, then they give you the opposite, or they give you maybe make you dig for your answers a little bit more. At least, and my thing is like get different perspectives on a subject, right? Not I don't think I necessarily believe one source all the time, but to try to find those other resources of even people's different opinions, right? And then I can make my own decision. That seems even harder to do nowadays. So
did find it interesting. Library credits came storming back here. I think they're a really good analogy of sort of Big Brother trying to sit on the public. I don't know. Library credits is going to war with Google kind of thing, eh?
Was that a streaming platform that we were trying to get on?
Yeah, I remember Odyssey. I think Odyssey was there. I remember Jamie was on the site last year. He was all super bullish of them and stuff. And then I think Google just came along and just shit right on them. Just took their collective ABC pants down and bombs away. It's just so sad.
Are they still trading on Bittrex?
Well, anyway, I saw library credits jumped up today. So I'm just wondering whether maybe they finally had some sort of resolution to the
Okay.
poop that they've been in. I mean, look at it was rocking and rolling. Then YouTube came in and just shit on them, and Google, and just drove them into the ground, and lawsuits and all that bullshit. And it looks like they're trying to stabilize and get sort of back on their feet. So, anyway, kind of just rhetoric, I suppose. All right, how about you guys over London? London Gabaldon says, I still use LBRY. Oh, that's good. They're cool, but... So I guess there's still some problems. Yeah, did we talk about the Google Trends tonight? Did we do that?
Yeah, we brought that up. At least for
Man,
Bitcoin, we brought it up at the beginning.
I thought that was fascinating. Okay, so all you crazy people over there on YouTube, what should we look at? We got maybe about 5-10 minutes left here. Is there any name that you guys all want me to take a quick boo at? I mean, I would imagine they're probably all looking very similar. Burn down the golden churches. Goddamn churches. All right, there you go. There's a statement. Okay, here we go. Polkadot is rising against ETH and BTC pairs. You like that Polkadot, don't you, Nick?
Yeah, they got their parachain auctions coming up next month.
Oh, that's is that also with the Kusama?
Yep, Kusama is a sister token to Polkadot.
Yeah, I heard. Who was it? I think it was Danny. He was saying he kind of liked the Kusama chain better than the Polkadot.
Yeah, he had a really interesting argument that he thought that Kusama would be like the blockchain for the people, the normal person, and Polkadot would end up being the blockchain for the suits or the institutions. But
yeah, it kind of makes sense. I mean, if it's an exclusive club and these projects come in, hey, I'm $100 million player. Look at me. Look at this project, right? I mean, they might just outbid all of the people like you and I in this world. So it does make sense. And that's the interesting thing that I don't think we're all wrapping our head around is how big is this market? I don't even, the irony of it all is I don't even know whether trillions is even the right word to use. What's the word after trillion?
that would be a quadrillion.
Quadrillion. All right, here we go. I mean, but listening to Danny, and like I said, when you listen to all these DeFi kids, I mean, they're fearless, and they're just like the world's our oyster. I mean, it's just so big, and there's so many opportunities out there. I don't know. I mean, it's baffling. If anything, I got the impression they're kind of like, we don't care about the U.S. Get them out of here. So they're an annoyance.
This might be like I don't know.
What's the symbol for Polkadot? Before you get into that, Derek, sorry.
It's just dot.
Oh, okay. So go ahead, Derek. Sorry to interrupt.
This might be like a naive question or whatever, but in terms of like DeFi, when you have names and you have, names out in front of companies and you have company entities, I understand the chains run by themselves, but how is there, how can you have a situation where the government couldn't control some part of it, have an influence, on it from a regulatory standpoint?
So, I mean, they could lock up Danny, right? And they could lock up the other non-anonymous people on the team, but their protocols are running decentralized. So there's not really, as far as I know, one kind of place that you can go to shut it down.
Right. So the people that are out front they might have some sort of risk, but in terms of like the thing that they built, they feel like that is doesn't have as much risk as far as that's concerned. Yeah,
I mean, as long as you make it so it is decentralized, so that there's no like one point of failure that they can go after. Yeah, mm-hmm. A lot of the protocols would be very, very hard to shut down.
Like, doesn't CZ, don't they have like 4 or 5 people that have like the seed phrases or whatever, and each one has like one word of the seed phrase, and Like, yeah, all of them have to all come together in unison to put it all together or something crazy like that.
Yeah, Binance and Polygon as well both have something like that where it's like a multi-sig
Yeah,
type
yeah.
atmosphere.
So I suppose that's the weak link in all of this. I seem to remember Waves had something along the same line as well. So. Okay, so Dot. I mean, price wise, can't really touch it here. There's not really much one can do on price at this level for a guy like me. You know, actually, it'd be interesting. Did we look at this one through the summer?
Oh, we definitely did.
Yeah, this was up top.
My hunch is if we did say where it was a good idea to start accumulating, it's probably in things like reload zones. That was done before Dog Money event, so I'm sure if we did an analysis, of this. Seem to also remember we talked about how this was a great level, and then the damn thing just turned on a dime and just went screaming straight up. So, great levels through the summer. Really good analogy. Don't chase. Wait for the reload zones. Dollar cost averaging. Little old lady a program. Okay, fine. A trade setup through here. To be honest with you, man, I don't see anything. It just looks like it went down and then straight up. So I don't really have a heck of a lot to work with there. And at best right now, I would say that we probably have, top of the range, bottom end of the range. So we can easily play in this total, playground. Value is probably a good support level. You got a bunch of lows here to support you. And that's probably like calling pump chaser. Excuse me, calling pump chaser zone. So, yep, there's 50%. It's basically the top of value. So, yeah, I mean, it's not. There's no bearish price structure to go, oh Jesus, this thing's about to collapse. I just don't see that. Do you want to let some go up top here if you had the balls to step in here at 12 and let some go at like 24, 25, sell half on a double? Even if you were buying Mountain Man levels, $20, $40 hit there, sell half on a double, get yourself a risk-free trade. And then at that point, there's not really much else a guy like me would want to do right now. Oh man, long day for me. Sorry guys, I'm starting to yawn. So I mean, there's your chart. Like a technician would probably just go, 6-1, half dozen the other. And then if I did want to buy right now, which I don't think I would, but something like there's resistance right now. My hunch is this is gonna get blown out, and there's support. So if we do come back down here, this is probably reload zone against this trend line. My hunch is you're probably going to see a pretty good fight. We would, if this thing was going to break down, it would probably be something along the lines of like, go maybe there, we'll go there to there. If this is the top, which I don't think it is, but if it is, then I will flip this around. And it'll probably look something like that. So, and if we go reload zone, whoops. Yeah, so right down in this area here. And I absolutely love when reload zones overlap. So this little window right in here, I think, is like the super sexy buy level. Which would be sort of, there's the trend line, there's that overlapping area somewhere in there. And this would probably imply that I'd want to do this trade probably somewhere on the end of the first quarter of next year. Right? Probably it's stretched out to something like that. That's if this is the top. I don't know whether it is or it isn't. Should be a pretty big fight up here. And this isn't really a valid trend line. I just sort of threw it on here. So this one, I mean, we don't actually have any valid. Well, I suppose technically this is a valid trend line down there, but that's way over. Probably LJ setups 1, 2, not even. So maybe your buy signal is this bullish resolution through here, although that would have been awfully tough. Yeah, I guess the way I would look at this is if I wanted to buy, Brian would be sitting right there. But obviously it's nowhere near there, so I probably couldn't touch it. I think I don't have this on the books. I've got the Kusama. That's KSM, right?
Yep.
So I've got lots of this thing on the books, and I was selling the whole way up. So it's kind of interesting. I never did get involved in that dot, but I was involved in this one. And I've been in this one forever. This one, I actually think that this one probably started out before the dot. But I could be mistaken because I think I've been in this thing a very, very long time. Sounds like it. Feels like it. No, this thing's been around way longer than this.
Yeah, it has.
So I'm not quite sure what. Trex is such an odd place, eh? Fascinating. I don't know what's going to happen to that place. Fascinating.
I'm going to say Binance goes back to August of last year.
I seem to remember I bought this a long time ago. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, there's a level here. I would say if we broke this W here, though, probably odds are there's something wrong with the story, and it kind of have to fall a long way here. So, it's not really, oh my God, pound the table. You got to get into this thing. If anything, it looks like the story's a bit old. The pound the table, got to get in this thing. That was when it backed. And again, I seem to remember this thing's been around forever. But that would be like over here. I love stuff like that. So anywhere over here, I would be interested. Especially when it started making higher highs and higher lows. Nice little bullish bot. I like that action. Higher lows all through there. Nice breakout. But we don't really look like that right now. I suppose you could watch this really closely. Yeah, we haven't even really broken this. You want to see this break, then you want to see it come down, put in a W, and break out. So I'd still be a little skeptical right now. Not quite. But it is interesting if you wanted to play that previous bottom. You're basically coming in and joining this original bottom here, buying that level. But there is no real buy signal here. This could very easily just walk its way down this trend line. So, yeah, 6 to 1, half dozen the other. GRS. Wade wants us to look at GRS. Grossling coin. Didn't I look at this just a minute ago? That was GBTC. I think I got a list of shit coins here that I did some buying on through the summer, but man, they just have not produced anything at all. Yeah, that's that GRS. I thought I had a free position established on this thing. Oh, this is not the right window. Oh, we're over here. Let's go over here. Okay. GRS. Yeah, I got lucky on this one. Wait, I'm sorry, dude. If you're a bag holder on this, my apologies. But I got a bit lucky on this one here, so there you go. Buy signal is the rumor, sell signal is the news, LOL. Now, what the fuck does that mean?
I think that's buy the rumor, sell the news.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I got a bit lucky on this. I tell you, man, the shitcoins, they just haven't done anything through the summer. But like I kind of said with this GBTCY, this is exactly what you want to see at the end of the move. Is the shit will actually start taking off here. So be ready. And don't fall in love with these damn things. When they pop, get the fuck out of there. Because I can tell you, into the new year, if and when these things pop, that's what I'm going to be doing. What is 6, 4, half, and another? Is that what I said? No, I said 6 to 1, half a dozen to the other. That's an old man expression. Derek likes that expression, right?
Yeah, I like that one.
6 to 1, right? So that's 6 to 1. Think about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Half a dozen to the other. So what do you say? Do you say 6 to 1, or do you say a half a dozen? It depends on the way that you speak, the language that they use. They mean the same thing. So that's what that expression means. Thanks, Nick. He just make it simple. He just goes, it just means it doesn't matter which.
Well, I mean, it's true. You can take either one.
Yeah, that's right. You can take it or leave it, right? There you go. Polka dot, November 11. All right, so there's something that's supposed to happen on Polka dot November 11.
That's when the parachain auction starts.
All right. I already told you on that dot. Unfortunately, I couldn't step in on something like that right now. It's just not in my wheelhouse. Okay, well, we had a couple hours of fun tonight. As I say, every broadcast, the whole reason why I did this was I wanted to try and get a booth on Decentraland going for TRI. And I used to do these broadcasts in years gone by with people like Coinigy and stuff. And I really wanted to get this sort of going again. And I thought this was a great sort of lead-in that, we could leave it up. I think the mana is their currency. Decentraland people. So, if anything, you guys have been donating ETHs. I suppose I should probably value this in ETH, not BTC, right? So, you have been donating ETHs. And if anything, I think probably we should actually start thinking about converting those into manas. Yeah, we're starting to get now actually down into a very respectable area here. So thank you very much for the donations. Absolutely love that. Appreciate it. As I tell everybody, if you feel like you got any sort of value out of this, you want to throw a couple bucks at us, I appreciate it. The funds, I think I've shown you guys before. It's pretty simple description. It's not really rocket science. Let's see, do I even have the page? I just simply said in the we're starting to get now actually down in the description there is our ETH wallet. If you feel like contributing, I'd love you for it. Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised. These videos, they got me a good 500-600 hits. Where are we? 750 hits last week's videos. That's kind of cool. So if you feel like you got any value out of this, it's a fun experience I get to have with site members, and we're using the proceeds specifically to build a booth in Decentraland. It's interesting that Nick is talking about Facebook wanting to go metaverse. Maybe at some point Facebook and Decentraland merge. Who knows? Maybe Facebook comes out and just buys Decentraland. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Man, all of a sudden it becomes Facebook land. That'd be freaky. Who knows? Point here is that's sort of the ultimate goal. And thank you very much for you helping us move towards that goal. That's what I'd really like to see happen.
And if somehow you don't know how to donate, if you have a MetaMask account, you can literally just log into your MetaMask, hit the send button on MetaMask, and then copy in that address that's in the YouTube video description.
Wow.
It is that easy.
So there's Nick. I mean, I don't even know any of that stuff.
So yeah, just that 0x on that.
Yeah.
Just copy that into MetaMask, hit the send button, copy it in, and send whatever token you want over. That's as long as it's in ERC20. So anything that's on the Ethereum mainnet, you can send over.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Do they don't have to pay the horrendous ETH fees though, do they?
They need to pay a fee, but it's probably going to be like $5 to $10, not like the normal 50 to 100 to do anything else like swapping tokens.
All right. Well, you know, it's in your guys' hands.
Or you like it'd be less money probably, but you could go to like Coinbase or Binance, and if you have any Ethereum there, you could just hit that as well to that address.
So appreciate the help there, Nick.
Yep.
So what I did notice was guys like Ubik and stuff. I always make reference to them, but one of the principals there, he actually has a business of building stuff in Decentraland. He's pretty excited about the future, and they have like just a looping video playing of concert music in their booth. Wouldn't it be cool to have this and all of these videos, man? I must have like 10,000 hours of videos. And if they were just looping, constantly playing in Decentraland, you could just walk in and just watch them at your leisure 24/7. I think that would be such a cool idea. So anyway, that was the whole point of this exercise. And I'll just keep doing this and just we're working away. This is what I ultimately love to see happen with this. And I have to say a big thank you. There are some people that actually have gotten value out of this show and have contributed. And so we are working our way towards that. And as soon as I can go buy a plot of land with the contributed assets, I will. And I'll let everybody know what I've done. So. Okay, I think we'll leave it at that. Gave you a good couple hours here tonight. We talked a few crypto stories. Hopefully I gave you some value here. I don't know. It's awfully tough. But tried my best. That's all I can do. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Privilege working with all three of you. And great to hear that all three of you are working away through the education program, which is totally awesome. And actually, what's super cool, Derek, I want to hear these stories from you in the not too distant future. But Zach actually is teaching his son right now, and his son's really picking up some of the skill sets. And it's great to see us. We're actually passing the baton on to the next generation, and that's what needs to happen through this. So, Derek, I want to hear stories from the trenches. You're reading your little ones' bedtime stories about M's and W's.
Oh yeah, they definitely know when the chart's on the screen. They always just think it's Bitcoin. They're like, "Is that Bitcoin on the screen?" Well, we talk about it. I'm trying to integrate them into a little bit here and a little bit there. So yeah.
Right on, Nick. You got one on the. Do you have one in the oven?
No. There's nothing in my oven right now, or my wife's. But. I want to hear stories about the kids taking money from other kids, like on the playground, for winning bets on like stock pick'ems or something.
Oh, that would be impressive. That would be impressive. Ben, you got any little ones running around?
Yeah, baby girl, she's almost 2.
All right.
I don't think she's ready for Fog and Bomb, but.
Well, actually, you know
It's
my picture of the International Brotherhood of W lovers that Ernie and Bert. So maybe you might start wanting to show her those images and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's funny you mentioned that saggy baggy elephant that stuck with you for 20 years. So if you can write a children's book that has some of these concepts, I'll read it to her.
All right. Well, you know, the interesting thing is British children's humor is fascinating. Like some of those books my wife's parents read, they were from Stoke-on-Trent, and they Jojo. Yeah, I can't talk about that. It'll just get me too upset. Anyway, all right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I'll work on that saggy baggy elephant analogy. And thank you so much for your time here tonight, guys. I really like working with you. It really it fills me with spirit to continue working and continue doing this. So thank you so much. Thank you, YouTubers. And PMA for the win. All the best. Who wants to take us on out of here tonight? Ben, have you done one recently? I don't know. I think I'm going to volunteer, Ben. So the only thing left for good old TRI to say to you good people tonight is...
Bye for now.